Hello everybody, Tanner here, and I just wanted to do a video on being done with my first quarter at UCR. As of recording this, I was officially done 4 days ago, and honestly, it feels really good to be done with my first quarter. I really liked the quarter system. The quarter system is really cool. I like it a lot. I like the speed of it. I like being able to get an assignment and do it at, pretty much as fast as I can. And, well, as good and as fast as I can, right? Like, obviously, I want to get a good score and everything, but I really like the quarter system compared to a semester system. And I came from a school that had a semester system, and I by far like the quarter system more. I did only take 3 classes, and I'm taking 3 classes again next quarter, so I'm sure that has an effect on it. But overall, I think the quarter system's a lot better. I do like the fact that assignments basically have to be done as soon as you get them. I like the fact that quizzes happen pretty much right away because you, while there might still be a lot of things to cover, there's less to memorize, there's less to remember, there's less to do during each quiz, right? Like, yeah, there might be a lot, but it's less overall, in my opinion, than a semester system, and it's less time between learning it and having to do a quiz on it. So I like that a lot. One thing I will say though is in one of my classes I had to do a group project. Nobody likes group projects. I've made a few acquaintances with some seniors, and they basically tell me that there's not a lot of group projects overall in my major, which is great, but of course, like they suck, right? Nobody in the world that I've ever talked to or know of likes group projects. And with college or university, the thing is too is like you really have to negotiate schedules almost. You have to make sure, oh yeah, I'll be free at this time. I hope you're free at this time. Let's meet here, blah blah blah. With high school, as far as I can remember, I mean, I'm a few years removed from high school, but as far as I remember, it was pretty easy to get groups going in high school because pretty much everyone has the same schedule, right? You have, 6 classes at the same exact time. Everybody's in class at the same exact time, and pretty much everyone has the same breaks, so you just go from there. Now, obviously, extracurriculars take place or take hold and stuff like that, but overall, like it's much easier to get a group going in high school than university. But I will say, 5 out of the 6 group members, including myself, had the same first course. So we all, when we needed to meet, we all met after that first course anyway. The first lecture, I should say, and so that made it really easy for at least 5 of us. The sixth person happened to live on campus, so that was also good because she just showed up whenever we pretty much needed her. So that was good. But as a whole, group projects suck. I hope to never take part in one ever again. Like, I know that's not a realistic situation. Obviously, I'm going to be in a group project again, but I hate them. They're terrible. I understand why they do it. It's to make sure that you can work in a team environment. You can be a leader. You can be a follower. It's to teach you that. It's to make you learn about that stuff. But like, I don't know. In a work situation, you're already in a place that is inviting group environments. You're in a place where all of you have the same exact schedule again, right? You're in a place where you don't have extracurriculars. You don't have outside things to do because work is what you do, right? Like, when you're out of work, that's, it's different because you're not meeting. You technically shouldn't be meeting outside of work hours to do a group project for work, right? you know it's just a little different in work, and I feel like doing a group project in school is not the best way to emulate that situation, in my opinion. Speaking of academics at university, I have some notes here. That's why I keep looking down. But people aren't as competitive as I thought, and I don't know if that's just a symptom of being at UCR, which is, kind of um, has the reputation of us being a lesser UC or a lesser school as a whole, but people just aren't as competitive, and people are generally nice. Like, I I've only had a personal issue, like one or two people who just, I don't think are emotionally mature enough to handle a more adult educational environment, you know? But that's really the only issue. It just seems the only issue I've ever had with people is people just not, not being as mature as they probably should be. I don't hang around with like, you know, stereotypical people who would be immature. You can figure out what the stereotypes are and who I'm talking about for yourself. But I just find that people are generally nice and considerate of other people. Um, Maybe not the electric scooter riders, but that's a different story for a different time. Um, that's kind of funny, but just some people, the people who I think have issues with other people are the people who haven't grown out of, whether it be like high school or just a younger level of maturity. And it's not even age wise, because I know a person who's the same age as another person, and one of those people are just way mature, and the other one like takes care of family members and takes like 4 or 5 classes a quarter and is just really on their shit and is really like mature about everything they do. But the other person just is just very out there and just not a very like emotionally mature person for their age. And I don't know if it's has to do with the upbringing or just who they are as people. I don't know. That's whole. Maybe you could ask a psychology major. I don't know. But people at UCR are just generally very nice, and it seems like while people aren't necessarily willing to go up to you and talk, if you go up to them and talk to them, they're more than happy to talk. They want to talk about their life and their goals and what they are and who they are and stuff like that. And honestly, like, I'm in a friend group. Shout out to you guys. You guys know who you are. Don't. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else about that, but you know who you are. But I'm in that friend group, and I will say, making friends from classes is a really good move. I myself reached out to several different people in classes that I like have seen and recognized, and I have gone up to them. And one person I noticed had 2 of my classes, and the second or third lecture of our second class, I went up to him and was like, "Hey, dude, like I've noticed you in my first class. I usually sit in the back, so I kind of, I can kind of see everybody. So I've noticed you before, and my name's Tanner. Nice to meet you. Blah blah blah." And we stayed in contact through the entire quarter. And now that the quarter's over, I've actually even, we've talked like 2 or 3 times, and even in one of my courses, in our very first discussion, our first week of discussion, 4 of us actually met, and we stayed in contact all quarter. Like we even hung outside of class. We went and got food together and stuff like that. And the friend group I'm in, none of us, well, I think 2 of them have the same major, but we all have different majors. And it's just we've gotten together off campus once, but we meet, a few of us meet on campus like at different times, and different people have met up with different people. But it's just really nice to like get out there and introduce yourself to people, and especially people you recognize time and time again. And as you start doing that, like, because let me say this real quick. I've met a few people who have been at UCR for several quarters, even several years, and are just now kind of getting out there and kind of wanting to socialize and get to know people. And I'll say this: if you're uncomfortable getting to know people, online is always, it's always a maybe not a safe place to do it, but it's always a good place to start, right? You can do that. There's you could honestly, like, you could just go up to groups in the library, or go up to people walking around. But I would say it's never too early to start socializing. It's never too early to start making connections with people. This is my first quarter here, and I can honestly say that I have a handful of like solid friends, that I can just reach out to at any time, and they'll be more than happy to reach back out to me. And I've had honestly some very serious fucking discussions with people this quarter, and I'm the type of person who wants to talk about like life and deep shit and like conspiracies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I can honestly say that there's at least a handful of people that I know now that hopefully forever that I can just message or meet up with on campus or around campus and be like, let's do this or let's go here or whatever. So I would say it's never too early or late to start making those connections, right? And if you want to make connections, if you want to make friends, if you want to socialize, do it now. Start now. Don't wait until your last quarter and hope to make lifelong friends, because honestly I don't know if it'll happen your very last quarter. Especially as far as I understand, like the more quarters you do, the smaller your classes get. So I would definitely recommend start socializing now. But like I said, people are generally nice, and that's I mean, that's only a positive, right? Like, if you went up to a lot of people and they were just like, oh, whatever, it wouldn't be as good of an environment. But honestly, I can say at UCR, people are very nice. Like, I get some pretty dirty looks sometimes, and I think that's just my general appearance. But besides from that, people, once you start talking to people, they're very kind and considerate of you. I already touched on this, but like meeting people, that's something I've enjoyed a lot of this quarter, and I hope to continue doing it every quarter. I have a lot of goals for the future, for my future time at UCR, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but I just want to say that, like, meeting people and getting those connections is something that's really important to me, not only as a business major, but just as a social person to begin with. I really like just discussing things with people and trying to make people laugh. Obviously, I don't consider myself a very funny person, but getting people to laugh is like one of the best feelings of all time for me. So that's my number one goal in a conversation, is to get people to laugh, unless it's a serious conversation, of course. But meeting people has been definitely the best part of this quarter. And even when I was in high school, like, the social aspects of school are what makes school great for me. Academically, I fucking hate it. Like, I'm always a decent student, right? I'm always above a 3.0, 3.2, and I don't know, just academically, I don't learn from the classroom experiences. I don't learn from the school experiences. So it's kind of hard for me academically to connect with something and be like, oh my God, I love this. No, I fucking hate it. I honestly hate school, but the social aspects of school are for me what make it great. So I would say meeting people is the top of my list for things I enjoyed this quarter. And I think anybody should go out there and try to meet people. Not even a lot of people, but just solid connections, solid emotional friendship connections, or romantic, connections too. Hey, there's that too. Speaking of academics, I will say this. I took 3 courses this quarter. Again, I'm taking 3 courses next quarter as well. Mandatory lectures and discussions suck. They are so stupid. They are one of the worst decisions that professors and TAs make. I'm sorry. It's just absolutely stupid to make any type of lecture, to make any type of discussion mandatory. We pay money to go to school. It should be up to us to decide whether we want to go to a lecture or go to a discussion. And if we happen to have negative consequences because of that, then so be it. That was our choice. That was our decision not to go to these lectures or discussions. But making something a grade or worth points because for whatever reason you decided that should be a thing, I don't agree with that whatsoever at all. Having tests or exams or quizzes be mandatory, I get it. I get that you would have to show up in person for that. Understandable, whatever. But full lectures or full discussions, I don't agree with it. I really don't. And I talked about this in a different video of mine, but I just do not agree with it. And I think it's a terrible decision. One of my TAs this quarter said, oh, the people who don't show up, they're just wasting their money. Well, it's like, yeah, they are. But that shouldn't be for you to decide whether that's good or bad. It's up to the person. We each pay, individual tuitions to go to the school. It should be up to us what we do with it, you know? Like, I know, well, I don't know them, but my TA in the same TA I'm talking about, there was people in our discussions that hadn't showed up for all 10 weeks. Well, 9 weeks, because the all my discussions were on Fridays this quarter, and the Thanksgiving break and Veterans Day we didn't have discussions, so 8 weeks basically actually for my discussions. But all 8 weeks there was like 5 students who never showed up, and none of them are getting participation points, which in this course is like 250 points, which is insane. And I was in the discussion once, and I was calculating it on this app I use, and it dropped me down like 30% or something. I went from like 91% to like 65, and these people are, yeah, they're fucking themselves by not going, but at the same time, it never should have been mandatory to begin with. The discussions don't help. Like, discussions are not helpful in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. I didn't receive any help from any of my discussions, and especially when TAs are grading and they require different stuff than the professor has in the syllabus and in the instructions for projects. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. Like, I just don't get the logic behind making things mandatory that shouldn't be mandatory. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but that is my number one complaint about this, besides group projects. But I'd rather take a group project than no, I wouldn't, because I think I would have showed up to a lot of my stuff regardless if it was mandatory or not. I mean, I went to every single lecture this quarter except one, because except two, sorry, I lied. Except two, and two of my courses weren't mandatory at all, but I went to every lecture anyway. So I would have gone regardless, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. If people choose to go, then they're gonna go regardless if it's mandatory or not. It's just bullshit to make things mandatory that shouldn't be mandatory. I don't know. Like, I'm an adult, right? And it's different when it's work, because I'm getting paid to be there. I have to pay to go to UCR, right? Like, everybody pays, whether you're not, you get scholarships or financial aid, whatever it may be, you still pay to be there. With work, it's different. Obviously, I need to show up to work, or else I'm going to get fired and not have a paycheck after that, and blah, 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 blah. But with school, it's a little bit different. But I don't know. Like, people would still go regardless. And it proves, by those 5 people never showing up in my discussion, making things mandatory doesn't work for attendance anyway. Who could? One of my courses was, each lecture was a mandatory, and only like a quarter of the people showed up after the second week. For 8 weeks. It was a 280 person class, and literally only like 80 people showed. That's even less than a quarter, I think. I don't know, I can't fucking do math, but I'm just saying, like, maybe 80 people showed. It was less than 100, like, every time except for exam days. You cannot sit here and tell me that making a mandatory class changes the attendance for more. That doesn't make sense. It's stupid as hell. Anyway, that's all the notes I have, but I will say, overall, I really enjoyed this quarter. Getting to meet people was the number one highlight of this quarter, and I hope to continue that through my time at UCR. I mentioned earlier that I'll talk about my goals later. It's later. I'm going to talk about my goals now. My goals as a whole for my career in education is to just graduate and do as best as I can. I'm going to make a personal video sometime later on, but my number one goal for education right now is to graduate law school. I hope in my life to become an attorney in the United States, and for that, I need to go to law school. In order to go to law school, you have to get an undergraduate degree and then go through 3 years of law school. I'm in my undergrad right now, so this is a stepping stone for what I eventually want to do, but I need to do as best as humanly possible as I can do. This first quarter was a little bit of a disappointment. I honestly didn't try 100% in any of my classes. I think coming from a community college and taking a lot of those courses, and the grading aspect in community college is so much different than university. So I think I'm getting kind of used to that, and I honestly didn't try 100%. I waited for a lot of assignments to last minute. I wrote literally freaking like, it ended up being like 20 pages. It was 2 different essays, but total it was like 20 pages in like 3 days. And some people, they can do that in like 2 hours. For me, it was really tough, and like it was just last minute. I was kind of stressing about it, even though I submitted both with plenty of time left. But I just was kind of procrastinating, and I'm not typically a procrastinator either. That's the thing that kind of got me. So I don't know, but my next quarters, hopefully I improve a little bit. And it's not like I did bad. The lowest grade I'm getting this quarter, unless my TAs just completely fucked me over, the lowest grade I'm getting this quarter is an 86, which is a solid B. So it's not like I did terrible, but for me, that's not where I wanted to be for my first quarter, or any quarter really. So it's kind of like getting into that mindset of, okay, I'm a student again. Like I had like a 3-month summer break before this quarter started. So, you know, it's just getting into that mindset again. I'm a student. I need to do this. I need to not procrastinate. And especially, I mentioned earlier, like, I'm happy I get to do assignments as soon as possible now in a quarter system, because they're given to you so fast. And then the next one's given to you so fast. And then the next one, you know. So for me, it's just not about procrastinating and doing the best I can on each project or assignment or whatever. Goals for this channel. I lack consistency in my content creation if you look at my video uploads. And that's something I really need to work on. Being in this friend group, I've already kind of planted the seed of like filming our adventures. As of recording this, we actually just met yesterday, and I didn't even bring my camera at all. We took like 3 pictures, but we were just talking and playing games and shit. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to film people like playing Mario Kart? Like, I don't know. But it's just getting into that consistency and getting, again, into a different mindset where it's like, I had a lot of fucking funny conversations this quarter, and kind of, I mean, a few of us literally, like, we just walked around campus and explored things and like went into creepy places and, you know, saw new buildings that like none of us have seen, and went into library, like the library that none of us have been in before. And it's like, why wasn't I filming that? I don't know. Would it be absolutely entertaining? Maybe not, but could it have been entertaining to somebody? Possibly. So it's like, why didn't I film that stuff? I don't know. And again, I'll probably say this, and I have a whole bunch of notes for a personal video I want to do for this channel. It's just like introducing myself and my goals and stuff like that. But I didn't even want to start this this channel yet. I actually wanted to wait until I did something that I want to do in the future at university, which hopefully I'll be able to do very soon. But I want to study abroad, and I was actually going to start this channel with my like journey to studying abroad, the traveling and then being there. And I decided one day, I was like, why wait? Like, why should I wait? So this video is actually going to be the 4th video on my channel. And again, it's just about consistency and like doing it. And with these connections I'm making too, hopefully a lot of these people have subscribed by now, you know. But I know a few have, which is always good. But what I'm saying is, more content from me is needed in order to further this channel, right? Like, I can't get 100,000 subs by not doing anything, right? Obviously. So that's my number 1 goal for this channel, is obviously more content. But for me, just as a person, is obviously to graduate undergrad, go on to law school, graduate law school, and hopefully pass the bar and all that. But again, I'll talk about that in a personal video. So I'm going to wrap this up. But overall, I want to say that meeting people, all of you know who you are. Shout out to you guys. But meeting people was my number 1 highlight for this quarter. Friends from my classes, a friend group I'm a part of, and just people I just randomly talked to and stopped for a second, or I got stopped and was talked to for a second. Like, just meeting those people and having those connections and talking to people was my absolute favorite part of this quarter, and I hope to continue that as time moves on. Mandatory classes and discussions suck. Group projects suck. Academics, all right. I don't learn anything. I've already forgotten 90% of what I learned this quarter, you know. So that's whatever. And I'm excited for the future at UCR. I'm excited for the future of this channel. And for this video specifically, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And yeah, I hope to see you guys again in another video soon. Peace out.